In the high-stakes world of CrossFit, legends rise and fall. While champions claim the podium, there's one name that echoes louder than any without a title: Patrick Vellner. The greatest to never be crowned, the fittest on earth. Three key factors may explain why Patrick Vellner came so close, yet fell just short of reaching the top of the podium at the CrossFit Games. Out of all his accolades and achievements, he boasts 8 appearances at the CrossFit Games, having made it onto the podium an astonishing 5 times. But things don't end there. He's also had great success in off-season tournaments, finishing first in the Rogue Invitational in both 2020 and 2023. He also won first place in Wodapalooza for the 2019, 2020, and 2022 seasons. It's astonishing how an athlete of his caliber, who has been in the scene for so long, trained for so many years, and is considered one of the greatest to ever do it, still hasn't taken his well-deserved picture biting a gold medal that accredits him as the fittest on earth. One factor could be the poor performances he displays at the beginning of every CrossFit Games. This is also the most plausible explanation for many fans. Vellner has a recurring pattern of struggling in the opening events of each year's competition, which may seem surprising given how often it happens. Yet the more we examine his performances, the clearer this trend becomes. Vellner consistently underperforms in the first event of each season. Throughout his career, Vellner has averaged a 9.6 place finish in the second event of competitions and a 9.5 finish in the third event. His performances typically hover around 9th place overall. But guess what his average finish is in the first event? 12th, 15th, maybe even 20th at worst. The answer may surprise you. It's 23rd. That's right. Patrick Vellner is a classic slow starter, consistently finishing more than twice as poorly in his first event compared to the rest of the field. However, this issue doesn't solely come down to the first event. It goes much deeper than that. These poor performances are often attributed to the perception that the first event of each competition is typically a swimming event. It's remarkable to see how things have unfolded for Vellner over the years. He finished 35th in the ocean swim in 2016, 36th in the run swim run in 2017, 21st in the Madison Triplets in 2018, 35th again in Event 1 in 2021, 30th in rinse and repeat in 2022, and 33rd in 2024 in the event Lake Day. This averages out to a 31st place finish, which is remarkably poor for an athlete of his caliber. Yet the fact that he consistently manages to rise from the ashes and make his way to the podium is even more astonishing. Now, you might have come to terms with the idea that Vellner may not be a strong swimmer, but only 2 of these events were actually the first of the competition, which means it isn't just swimming that's dragging down his first event average. If you look closely at other first event finishes, you'll quickly realize there are 3 more poor performances, none of which involve swimming. So guess what they could all have in common? The answer is biking. Back in 2018, he placed 35th in the event crit. In 2022, he showed improvement and managed to place 20th in the bike to work event. But in 2023, he returned to his old ways and placed 27th in the workout ride. What is it that makes him underperform so much when biking? We can't know for sure, but it is definitely stopping him from touching the gold, just like water. Vellner's lack of success at the Games isn't due to not performing at the highest level in the first event. It is because water and biking are his kryptonite. There is something else worth mentioning about Patrick Vellner. Even though there are no statistics to back this up, it has happened enough times to be obvious that it impacts how Vellner performs at competitions. At the 2022 CrossFit Games, there was an event called Shuttle to Overhead that had 2 scoring parts. Part A measured how long it took to complete the shuttle runs, while Part B counted the number of reps achieved in max shoulder to overhead lifts. In this event, he consistently finished among the top in each shuttle run interval. However, When it came to the shoulder-to-overhead lifts, he struggled. The contrast between the running portion and the shoulder-to-overhead portion was extreme. He ended up 4th in the run part of the event and 35th in shoulder-to-overhead, a staggering difference of 31 places. Yet, despite this, the terrible position he ended up in Part B didn't fully convey how poorly he performed. To put it another way, the man who won this workout was fellow Canadian Jeff Adler, who completed 19 reps in total. Now, how many reps do you think Patrick Vellner managed? 15. Maybe 10 at worst. Not even close. Vellner was so outclassed that Adler nearly quadrupled his total repetitions. As a second example, consider what took place just a few months later at the 2022 Rogue Invitational. Heading into the final event, Pat only needed to finish one spot ahead of Justin Medeiros to win the entire competition. That final event was heavy grace, and right from the start, the difference in their movements was noticeable. Justin went straight into a comfortable overhead position on each jerk, while Pat seemed to need to readjust each time after putting the weight overhead. In the first 20 reps, Vellner gained a 2-rep lead over Justin, reaching the final bar of 10 reps just ahead of him. Sadly, things didn't go as planned in the final set of 10. Pat struggled getting the bar overhead, missing several reps. With just 5 reps to go, Justin overtook him, causing Pat to fall behind not just to Justin, but to many other athletes as well. In just 1 minute and 2 missed jerks, Pat dropped from nearly winning the competition to taking 4th place overall. The gold was never within reach. Lastly, a recent example comes from just a few months ago at the 2024 CrossFit Semifinals. The 5th event showcased a snatch ladder with descending reps and weights. In this competition, Pat once again demonstrated his usual lower finish. What makes this even more concerning is that out of the 40 athletes who qualified for the CrossFit Games this year, Pat's score ranked him at 38. While most competitors completed the event within the 5 to 7 minute range, Pat's time was nearly 10.5 minutes. Initially, I thought his struggles might simply stem from shoulder issues he could be suffering from, but that doesn't seem to be the case, as Vellner is highly skilled in overhead-heavy movements like handstand walks and wall walks. For instance, in Event 4 of the 2021 Games, which featured numerous wall walks and heavy thrusters, Pat secured a remarkable 7th place finish in a workout focused on overhead pressing and stability, clearly indicating his shoulder strength isn't the issue. The true underlying problem is far more specific than that. Pat Vellner has difficulty maintaining a squatted position with the barbell locked out overhead. The 3 movements mentioned earlier serve as clear evidence of this, as both the jerk and the snatch require having the barbell secured overhead while not standing fully upright. To succeed in the world of CrossFit, any weaknesses in your skill set, no matter how small, can be detrimental and be the nail in the coffin. Unfortunately, Patrick Vellner seems to have a few of these weaknesses. Throughout his career, he has consistently struggled with swimming and faced challenges in biking events for various reasons. Moreover, he has lost crucial points in competitions due to issues with his overhead positioning. While Pat ranks among the best in the world in nearly every fitness discipline, he has long appeared on the verge of becoming the fittest man on earth. Yet, a few minor deficiencies in his performance seem to hold him back from that ultimate achievement. Only time will tell if he can overcome them and finally claim the well-deserved gold.